guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today I'll talk about how hard it is to visit the United States. So yeah, but before we go to that topic, please don't forget to like and subscribe in my channel so you stay updated with everything that's happening in this community. So let's get started. Okay, let's have a backstory. My family got in the United States back in 2016, and before that it was my grandmother who filed a petition for my dad back in the years that I wasn't even born yet. So she filed a petition for a single son. Okay, and for those who do not know, if you are a green card holder, you can file a petition for your single son or daughter, but not married ones. So time went by, the petition got approved, but when the petition got approved, my mom and dad are already married. So technically he cannot use that petition anymore, and so my grandmother had to wait for her or file a different petition. I'm guessing she's already a US citizen by then. She had to wait for her to become a US citizen before she can now file for a petition for a married son. Okay, so that took so long. My sister and I were part of that original petition, but because it took more than 20 years, when it finally got approved in 2015, I think, December, when we received a letter that, you know, it's the green card is ready and everything, or they just have to go through an interview. I'm not very familiar with the technicalities of the petition that they had because, you know, I was a kid back then when it was filed and everything. So yeah, mainly my sister and I, who are above 21, are already disqualified from this petition, and so only my brother was able to go with my parents. So yeah, that's how long it takes to get here legally via that petition. I forgot what. I'll go ahead and check it out right now. I'm not sure what visa that is, but basically for any family petition, if you are only a green card holder, you can petition for your single daughter or single son above 21, since they're not going with you. Yeah, but of course that takes like 5 to 10 years. It depends when and depends on a lot of technicalities. So after that, if your kids or children got married, you will have to be a US citizen before you can file a petition for that. That's why some would advise you not to get married or whatever while waiting for a petition. So that's basically what happened with us. My sister was married when this petition came out. So right now my mom is a green card holder and she still cannot petition for my sister who is already married. Back in 2017, my mom filed a petition for me as a single daughter, but of course we know that takes a long time. But yeah, she filed it as soon as she was a green card holder. Okay, so yeah, to make things short, we're waiting for that petition, and I have applied for tourist visa. That is the B1, B2. One is for medical purposes and one is just to really tour, and you can actually get B1 and B2 together. So yeah, in January of 2016, my family, my mom, my dad, and my brother had to go to an interview for their immigrant visa, and at that time I also applied for a tourist visa. And once you get to the US Embassy in the Philippines, there is a line for immigrants and for tourist visa. So I got separated from them. Basically, the immigrant visa interview is more of like formality where you show papers, you will have your affidavit of support and everything. And then I applied for a tourist visa, so it's a totally different line. I was prepared. I have everything I needed. I have my certificate of employment. I have all his bank accounts, I was prepared for the interview. And before that, I used to love traveling, so I've had visas from Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and neighboring countries in Asia. So yeah, so I got there, I got interviewed, and the first question was, what's the purpose of your travel? So I told them I want to visit the US, and I was asked what countries have I visited prior. So I was like, oh, I've traveled to Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, Korea, a lot of countries around the Philippines mainly. So yeah, so they look at my passport and saw all of those stamps, and then, oh, mind you, those are like my personal travels with my friends, and I paid for all of those because I was already working at this point in time. So he then asked how much, or okay, they first ask you what job you have. So I told them what I was doing in the Philippines, and they even asked how much you're earning or how much you're making. I was making pretty decent back then. So yeah, I was making good money. My husband actually told me before, when we were just dating, and then he was like, oh yeah, for someone who's living in the Philippines, you're earning pretty well. I was basically earning almost the same amount as him, and he was in the US and I was in the Philippines. So yeah, I was living a good life back then. So anyway, going back. So yeah, and then they asked me where my family is. So I told them that my family is about to migrate to the United States. And so the consul asked me which family member. So I said it's my mom, my dad, and my brother. And upon hearing that, the guy was just like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't give you a tourist visa. So I was given this blue paper wherein I was denied. So I went out, I waited for my family to come out. So I told them that I got denied. That was in late January of 2016. And I hate rejection. So fast forward a few months, my family left for the United States, and December came. My mom wanted me to visit them for Christmas, but of course, to visit them, I have to get a visa again. Oh, by the way, back then when I got denied, the next thing I did was apply for a Korean visa again, and I visited Korea. Just to make myself feel better. That's what I do. Oh, you rejected me? Okay, I can go somewhere else. I have the money to fly somewhere else. So yeah, my mom told me that she wants me to visit them for Christmas, and I wasn't really excited about it because I am very bad with rejection. I do my best in a lot of things that I do, and once I get rejected, I'm not very good with dealing with it, so I wasn't really thrilled to go through the process again, so I didn't really make much effort on it. So my mom sent me money to apply for a tourist visa because I did not want to apply again. Back in the days, back in 2016, it's a little less than $200 to apply for a tourist visa, but there's no assurance that you get approved. So that's, yeah, $200 down the drain on my first try, almost $200. And then on the second try, my mom was like, no, we'll send you money so you can apply. So I was like, okay, sure. I applied before Christmas, and if I get approved, I'll be flying for Christmas. But I applied, I think, around December 6th, like around my birthday. And then I got an appointment interview for around December 19 or 20. Like, I was not really thrilled about it. So I got interviewed again, and same question, what's the purpose of your travel? And this time I was like, oh, I'm going to visit my family. And then they asked who's family members. So I was like, my mom, my dad, and my brother. I think the consul can see how honest I was with it. Like, yeah, I'm not hiding anything. And so he went on to ask, like, oh, so what do you do in the Philippines? So I told them my work. And then, of course, they asked again how much I was earning. At this point in time, they never asked for the bank statements and show money or whatever, but I have them prepared. So I told them what I was doing. I told them that I actually just flew in yesterday from this place because universities would invite me to do lectures and this and that. So he was like, oh, cool. So your mom, your dad, and your brother are in the United States. So do you have a child here? Like, if I have a kid, I'm like, no, I'm single. He's like, how about a husband? I was like, no, I'm single. So basically, I just want to visit my family in the US. So he was like, I believe you, but I'm sorry, I can't give you a tourist visa. So yeah, basically I got rejected for the second time. And I don't like rejection. So that's almost $400 down the drain applying for a US tourist visa. Now you tell me, is it easy? I wouldn't say it is easy, but yeah, okay. So that was December 2016. I spent Christmas on my own in the Philippines. For New Year, I went to visit my sister and joined her, and we started talking about her visiting the US because she holds a valid 10-year multiple entry visa because she has been in the US a few years ago for her elective. She went to New York for an elective. She was in med school back then, and then she also went here to take some exams. So yeah, she still holds a valid tourist visa, and she was like, I was thinking of getting Sari, which was my niece, a visa before she turns 2 years old, so they all fly to the United States, and my brother-in-law was flying to the United States just for a company thing, a business trip. So I was like, okay. So they were like, why don't you just go with us? Of course, I wasn't very thrilled about it because I felt like that's almost $200 to apply. So I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So mainly my sister applied, well, not really applied, but filled up all the forms that I needed because at this point, I'm just done. I was like, I'll just wait for my mom's petition. I'll stop wasting money applying. I'll just travel wherever, at this point, I am starting to enjoy my life in the Philippines. Yeah, I miss my family, I miss my parents, I miss my brother, but at this point, I'm enjoying the freedom and independence I have there. So I was like, whatever. So my sister filled up the application. I wasn't prepared, but yeah. On the day of the visa interview, my sister and my niece arrived at my condo. We all went to, I think I was a little late, but yeah, so you see, I was just so done with it. And so we went to the embassy, and when we got there, our thinking was, we want them to see that I have family in the Philippines and I am coming back. Like, I have it good there, so I wouldn't stay in the US. I just want to visit my family. Like, come on, give me a visa. So I hope, like, by seeing me and my sister and my niece would make them think like, oh yeah, they will go back to the Philippines. So when we got there, my sister being pregnant and my niece being less than 2 years old, we have that fast lane, but they first check your documents. And upon checking the documents, they saw my picture, and I was told that my picture did not look really like me. I'll talk about that in some other videos, like what I did through 2016, because that was such a life-changing year for me. Please comment down below if you want to hear about that story. But yeah, so I look different in that picture. So the lady, I think, asked me if that picture was taken within the past 6 months, and I was like, no. So I have to be honest, it's kind of obvious at that point that it wasn't taken in the past 6 months. So she told me to go get a new picture taken. See, I wasn't ready at all. So I got my picture taken. I got separated from my sister and my niece, and after I got my picture, they're basically done. Sari, who is less than 2 years old, has been granted a visa, and I have to go back in line without them. So in my head, I was like, yeah, so great. Everything that could go wrong can possibly go wrong, or everything that could have gone wrong have already gone wrong at this point in time for me. So my spirits were really down at this point. I'm not expecting anything anymore. So I got into the consul for an interview, and same question. Oh, wait. So before that, I was thinking, how would I word it in such a way that they would go to the question of who I'm going with, or if I have family in the Philippines, you know what I mean? So yeah, when I got into the custom and I got interviewed, the first question was, as always, what's the purpose of your travel? So this time I said, family travel. I said, I'm traveling with my family. And so the consul asked me, who are you traveling with? I said, oh, my sister, my niece, and my brother-in-law. The next question was, do they have a US visa? So I said, yeah, my sister has a 10-year multiple entry. My brother-in-law was granted yesterday because I think he was traveling for a business trip. And my niece just got hers a few minutes ago. So he was like, oh, I see. So the next questions were, what do you do as a job? How much you're making? You know, those are the things that you can't really lie because they have all this stuff. And then in the form, you are also asked if you have ever been denied a tourist visa. And yes, I have stated that I have been denied twice. Okay, and then the consul just told me to please wait a moment, and he called someone and they were talking, looking at a computer which I'm pretty sure had stuff about me in there, you know, like some information about me. I don't know if they even have a file that would say that I have a petition from my mom that is going on right now and everything. So it might be 3 to 5 minutes of talk, but it felt like the longest 5 minutes of my life because what, are you just gonna reject me again? Like, oh, come on, just get this over and done with. I'm not being pessimist, but I know people who have been denied like 8 times, 7 times, 5 times, and these people are, you know, they have good businesses in the Philippines, they're pretty well off, and I really do not see a reason why they would be denied, but they've been denied. So I have worked for these people because they have their companies, and I wouldn't be surprised if I get denied for the 3rd time. So yeah, they were talking, they were looking at me back and forth, looking at me, looking at the computer file, looking at me, and looking at the computer file again. I was like, oh, come on. And then the other guy left. The guy who was, the consul who was interviewing me looked at me and said, I'm sorry that took a while, your visa has been granted. And my reaction was, oh, really? Thank you. Because, you know, after being rejected 2 times, you don't have the high hopes anymore at this point. You're just like, come with me. If any, I just feel bad for another $200 that is possibly down the drain. But yeah, I got approved for a tourist visa. So I was like, I wonder what visa I would get this time, because they can give you just a single entry, or they could give you a multiple entry. They can give you, you know, how many years they want. So after a week, I think I got my passport back, and there it had it written, a 10-year multiple entry to the United States. So my sister and I started planning our trip. So yes, I got a B1, B2 multiple entry for 10 years visa for the United States. Our first trip was in September. Yeah, September of 2017. Is it easy to get a tourist visa? From what I have told you, it wasn't easy for me, mainly because I have a family petition going, or my mom has petitioned for me, and my family is in the United States, so I did not have it easy. I got denied 2 times before getting my 10-year entry, but I know that it's not the same for everyone, because I have friends who applied for the first time and got approved. Mainly my friends who visited the United States or applied for a tourist visa for our wedding got approved for first time. So I think I have 2 friends who applied to visit us. So they got approved easily. So for them, it would be easy. For me, it wasn't easy. But I also had a friend who applied for a tourist visa back then to attend our wedding, but got denied. So it really is a case-to-case basis. During this entire time, I did not use any travel agency. I did everything on my own, or should I say my sister did things for me, because I easily lose hope. I'm not good with dealing with rejection, so that's one thing about me. Okay, so fast forward. September, I visited the United States. I met my fiance, my husband now. I met my boyfriend, fiance, husband. Okay, wait. Erase. Okay, so I traveled to the United States to be with my family, but I got bored. So I went on Tinder. But that is for another video. That's such a long story to tell. So to make things short, I left in October. So I stayed here for like 3 weeks, I think. Flew back to the Philippines in October, and 2 weeks after, my then boylet, maybe, if I would say, I would say boyfriend, because we're not exclusively dating. So he flew to the Philippines to see me, and then before leaving, so he stayed in the Philippines for a week, and then he flew back to the US, and we already knew that by December I'll be coming back to the US to spend Christmas with my family. Well, it's my dad's birthday too, and my birthday, so my brother's gift to me was a plane ticket to the US for December. So I was seeing my then boyfriend again during that time, and on January he proposed, but I flew back to the Philippines. Okay, that is because I have a life in the Philippines, and I have made previous commitments, and no matter how chaotic, busy, messy it can be, I love the Philippines and the life that I have built for myself there. And it's not easy to just like say goodbye to everything. I have made professional commitments that I had to keep. So I flew back January to the Philippines, and by the end of January 2018, my husband now filed for a K1 visa petition. So that whole process possibly would be a whole different video. Let me know if you want to hear about that whole process and how I met my husband. And yeah, so it took less than a year for that petition to get approved. My husband and I went, flew back and forth to the US and the Philippines to make the LDR work. It's not typical, I know. It was kind of expensive to do that. But, well, he got his excuses. He's like, oh, we have points and whatever. And, well, my brother paid for one plane ticket. I paid for some of it. So, yeah, it worked out because I'm here now. But the K1 visa took less than a year. I moved here in November 2018, so he filed it end of January, and I was able to go here by November. But I got the approval way earlier. It's just that I have to finish commitments in the Philippines before flying here. I have to take care of things. That's the thing when you get married kind of late. You have built up a life for yourself that is kind of difficult to say goodbye to, you know what I mean? So yeah, I could have flown to the US as early as maybe, I think, October, yeah, but I flew in mid-November because, yeah, it is what it is. So the K1 visa was prioritized more than my mom's petition because it took a shorter time. So somehow it superseded the previous petition. And when I got interviewed again for the green card, I was told that I have to call and let them know that I'm already here, so that people who are in line for that type of visa petition from a mom or dad in the US would, to make the line kind of faster, since I don't need that anymore. So yes, I have gone through quite a bit just to visit the US. And once I got approved the K1 visa, that 10-year multiple entry that I worked so hard for, paid quite a bit of money for, just went down the drain. Because once your K1 visa has been approved, your B1, B2 visa will be revoked without, I forgot what the term, without prejudice. So yeah, once I received my passport back, I have my K1 visa there, and I still, of course, the B1, B2 visa is still there, but they have a stamp that says, like, you know, it's no longer valid. So yeah, is it easy to go here? Legally speaking, if you go to the US legally, it's not. It takes decades for that family immigrant petition. It would take decades for that. For tourist visa, it's a miss or hit, or a trial and error. You know, you can be lucky, you can not be lucky. But yeah, some people are lucky, some are not. But please remember that if you have a tourist visa, you only have 6 months to stay in the United States legally. You have to, you know, go back to your country. After all, it's a tourist visa. So when I applied for a tourist visa, I had no intentions of, you know, not following the regulations or whatever. I had a life in the Philippines that I loved going back to, and even until now, I miss somehow. I mean, I'm happy here. I'm happy to be with my husband. I'm happy to build a new life here. But contrary to what a lot of people may think, Philippines is not bad. It's different, you know. It all depends on the life that you build for yourself. And for me, I feel like I did pretty well back there, and going here is fun, I guess, a learning experience. But yeah, so I got lost in my thoughts again. So yeah, the tourist visa may be easy or not, but it all depends case to case. And of course, the K1 visa, fiance visa, they said would always be the easiest or the fastest. But people who have gone through this process will tell you it's not as easy as you think it is. And please let me know if you want a video about that, about the things that my husband, fiance back then, had to file, and things that we had to do to get through it. And let me know if you want to hear about our 90-day fiance thing, because yes, you have to get married within 90 days of being in the US soil. We did have a wedding. It wasn't a courthouse wedding, so that's pretty juicy. Anyway, thank you for joining me today for this talk about all these visas. If you want to learn more, or if you have any question, please comment down below. And let's talk again next time, guys. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Bye.